So since we're getting closer and closer to the election, there's been nonstop polls being released asking various questions. And Pew is out with a new one. This is something. They asked people, hey, why are you supporting either Trump or Biden? Now, they did the standard questions too, and, I think overall in this particular poll, Biden had like a 7 or 8 point national lead. But when you got into the specifics, so when you ask people, hey, give me your reason for voting for Biden and give me your reason for voting for Trump, the breakdown really says everything about the dynamic of this election. So when you look at Trump, here's why his people are voting for him. 23% say leadership or performance. 21% say his issues or policy positions. 19% say he is not Biden. 17% say he is for the American people and values. 16% say they vote for Republicans all the time and against Democrats. 11% says he tells it like it is, or I like his personality. 12% gave an other reason, and 13% said, I don't know, or just refused to answer. Now look at Joe Biden's numbers. The reason why Biden supporters are with him, he is not Trump. 56%. Leadership, performance, 19%. Personality, temperament, 13%. I love this one. His issue or policy positions, only 9%. 7% say they vote for Democrats or against Republicans all the time. He is for the American people and our values, 6%. Other 13% don't know, refused, 14%. So the majority of Joe Biden's supporters are going to vote for him in the 2020 general election simply because he is not Trump. A majority, 56%. Guys, when I look at this result, honestly, my main takeaway is I'm more mad at the media than ever before. Because we knew that this was the dynamic for quite a while, but to see it in such stark, clear, black and white numbers is infuriating. Because we said all along, when you go back and look at the polls of Bernie Sanders, you go issue for issue, and Americans loved every single position, virtually every single position, bar maybe one or two of Bernie Sanders. They even liked him personally as the angry old grandpa, but somebody who you deeply trust and believe in. He was the most liked politician in the entire country. So when Biden started to pull away, everybody was like, whoa, hold on here. The guy who came out of the gate super hot, was doing really well. All the polls reflect that he's liked more. How come he's not winning? Well, the bottom line is the main reason people were voting in the primary, and now this is translating over into the general, is their perception of electability. So, in other words, if you asked individual voters, they would say, listen, my heart's with Bernie. I love Bernie. My brain is with Bernie. But I've been convinced, because of all the chatter, that he just can't beat Trump. And we got to get Trump out of office, so I got to go with something safer. So I'm going to vote. It's like this meta question. I'm going to vote for the person that I think other people would feel safe with and would maybe be safest against Trump. Guys, we did this in 2016 already. That's what Hillary Clinton was. And she lost. And so they're doing the same thing here. People just went with electability, just went with who they thought would have a better chance of beating Trump. But if people just voted for who they agree with, it would have been Bernie, and it would have been Bernie by a landslide. So this hurts my soul. And the reason why I said I blame the media is because who planted that idea in the heads of the American people? That, I mean, listen, you might like the guy, but what are you going to do? He's an extremist. He's a radical. He's far left. He's crazy. It's the media. The media always looked down their nose at Bernie Sanders. Always were condescending. always talked about him as if he's some sort of sideshow or a joke. They just never treated him as like a serious, viable candidate. So it's this like condescension from the media. This idea that you might like him, but that's irrelevant because there's no chance he's going to win. That translated into reality. Where people felt like, hey, maybe they're right. Maybe I am one of the only ones who really likes him. Maybe I am one of the only people who listens to him when he talks about the issues and I nod in agreement every single time. Maybe the media's right. Maybe the media is right. And so we know what happened. We know what the results were. We know that Biden ended up running away with it, but the reason he ran away with it, and this is according to every poll, is electability. Well, now here we are in the general, and the only reason why people are voting for him is because he's not Trump. 56%, that's crushing. Hey, he's just not Trump. What do you want me to tell you? He's just not Trump. He's just not Trump. And now, by the way, we're seeing the polls tighten. So this poll, like I said, Biden was up 7 or 8 points nationally. CNN poll just came out yesterday. Biden's only leading nationally by 4 points. What's the margin of error? Plus or minus 4 points. The previous CNN poll, Biden was up 14 points nationally. So, at least in the CNN poll, Trump had a 10-point surge. Now, you can say, hey man, that might be an outlier. Fair enough. Very well might be. Also might be the case that the plus 14 one was an outlier. And the real reality of the race is maybe Biden plus 5 or 6. We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But the race certainly feels like there's been a little bit of a sea change. Because Biden keeps going out there and talking, and people are reminded that he can barely talk. And, eventually this comes to fruition. This number, 56%. 56%. Yeah, he's not Trump. Well, again, this is the playbook we ran in 2016. She's not Trump talking about Hillary. That wasn't enough. That simply wasn't enough. Now, maybe it is enough this time because of the pandemic and the economic collapse. Maybe it is enough. But I fear that all the wrong lessons are going to be taken away from this if Biden wins. If Biden wins, the neoliberal corporatists will be so self-assured, just so unbelievably arrogant about the fact that they think their ideology is awesome, that it'll be beyond insufferable. The neoliberal corporatists will walk away from this going, well, I told you, it's us. We're actually the ones who are liked. That's what'll happen. And by the way, if Biden loses, you know what they'll say? They'll say, see, the problem was Biden listened too much to the left. Kamala Harris listened too much to the left. They ran too far left. They needed to be more centrist. I guarantee, hear me now, quote me later. I guarantee you, if Biden and Kamala Harris lose, the conventional wisdom in mainstream media and in Washington, D.C. will be, they tried to appease the left too much, and that's why they lost. They went too far left. We needed to run somebody who was more centrist. If you told me after the Nevada caucus we'd be in this nightmare, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, we were basically 3 for 3, cruising, crushing victory in Nevada. And it was all downhill. And now here we are. General election, Biden versus Trump. More than half of Biden's voters are like, I don't even like him. He's just not Trump, so what am I going to do? I'm tired of the seesaw between corporatist neocons and corporatist neoliberals. I can't handle that anymore. We gotta go left. And when I say left, I mean we gotta give the American people what they want. What the polls show they're in favor of. There you have it. Joe Biden, as of right now, is trying to coast to the White House off of, hey, I'm not that guy.